Hey friends, welcome back to Chronically Overdressed. So I did it! I hit 5,000 subscribers and I just wanted to say thank you all so much. I'm so happy that you're here. This is a really big milestone for me and I'm so glad that you guys are able to join me on this journey. So today I'm going to answer the questions that you sent to me through all of my social media channels, and I'm going to give you all of the information about my big giveaway. So be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video so you get all of that information. Okay, so I just want to say thank you to all of you who sent me questions. There were a lot, and I don't think I'm going to get through all of them, but I do appreciate all of your questions, and I'll try to answer them individually if I don't get to them here in the video. But thank you all so much. I really appreciate the questions, and a lot of them were very, good, thought-provoking questions. So I really appreciated that. So let's go ahead and get started with the question and answers. Okay, so our first question is, how long does your set usually last? How often do you wash your hair? And do you ever do overnight rollers more than once between washings? So my sets can last up to 10 days. The longest my set has ever lasted was 16 days when I was on vacation and I didn't want to wash it. But I normally wash and set my hair once a week. So that's just my normal process. And I don't put my hair in rollers overnight in between that time. Occasionally, if my hair has hit the rain or a lot of humidity or something, I might do a couple of pin curls or something at night just to kind of restructure that curl. But on the whole, no, I don't re-roll my hair at night. I have naturally curly hair, so my hair likes to hold curl, and I just find that I don't need to. But I know a lot of people who do, and if that's what helps keep your curls fresh, then absolutely do it. Okay, so next question is, I'd love to know what your favorite outfit is and what your favorite hairstyle is. I don't have like a particular favorite outfit. I don't think. I'm very fickle, so some days I'll have like, oh, this is my favorite dress, this is my favorite shirt, whatever. But I do have like kind of a favorite style, I guess. I absolutely love shirt dresses. Those are my favorite. That's what I gravitate towards. I just find that they're really versatile. You can dress them up, you can dress them down. And yeah, I really like shirt dresses. Those are definitely the style that I reach for most. As far as my favorite hairstyle, it happens to be this today. So this is my half up, half down kind of 1940s style. And it's a style that I find, again, I love versatility because I get bored with my hairstyle sometimes. So I find that this style works really well for, you can just wear it down like this. You can put it back. You can put the hair back into either a barrette or a chignon, or you can wear this with a snoot or a hairnet. So there's a lot of versatility. It's pretty much the same hairstyle, but you can change it up very easily to make it look very different. The other thing I like about it is that even though it's the same silhouette, it's this kind of squared off silhouette, depending on how my hair has decided to curl, it looks different. Like sometimes I'll have more curl in the front, sometimes I'll have a bigger wave in the front. So yeah, it's a hairstyle that the silhouette is pretty much always the same, but the actual finished look is sometimes different, and I like that. Okay, Okay, so this next question was really interesting. I actually had to do a little research on it to answer the question. It's not a personal question for me, but the question is, when looking at earrings, are screwbacks usually or always earlier than clip-ons? And so screwback earrings were really popular from like the 1900s up to the 1950s. But it wasn't until 1930s that the technological development of the spring clip for the clip-on earrings, that wasn't developed until the 1930s. So you definitely will see screwback earrings and clip-on earrings from the 1930s to the 1950s, 60s. But yeah, anything older than that are going to be the screwback earrings or the backs. So if you're looking for dating purposes, there's a lot of other things that you need to look at. You need to look at the metal that was used, different construction, maybe some of the jewels and gems that were used in that. The style of the earring is definitely going to tell you whether it's older than the 1930s. Yeah, so if it's clip-on, it's going to be 1930s and above, and then if it's screw back, it could be anywhere from 1900s to 1950s or 60s. Okay, so next question. My question is where and how to find new vintage style hats. I struggle in my area. There's not much, and so I'm usually having to spend extra money ordering online or something and trying to remake them myself. Any advice? Unfortunately, most of my hats I find online. I buy a lot on Etsy and eBay. Occasionally I do find them in thrift stores and vintage shops, but I totally understand if your area, it's not accessible. I'm pretty fortunate. Well, now I am. I live in DC. But yeah, when I was in Hawaii, there was nothing. I wasn't finding anything. And even in Germany, I didn't find a whole lot. Occasionally I would find some at the flea markets. But yeah, mostly I buy from Etsy and eBay. If you check out my hat video, I have a couple of different hat videos, and I do list some of the shops there that I generally shop from. And yeah, sorry, I wish I had better advice than that. But if you don't have a lot of good thrift or vintage shops in your area, then online's really going to be your best bet. Okay, so these next two are kind of similar questions. So the first one says, do you have a dream item that you hope to find while out thrifting or antiquing? And do you have a favorite vintage collection of anything? And then second question is, what would you like to add? What would you most like to add to either your wardrobe or collecting for 2022? So I honestly I'm never really looking for anything in particular. That's not the way that I shop, and mostly because I don't want to just be disappointed all the time. But I am always kind of keeping my hopes up for a knit set or even a suit, just a regular suit in my size. So those are always things that I'm hoping for. And I would love to add a beautiful knit set to my wardrobe. I have these great knit dresses from eSkakti, but I've never found one in my size in true vintage. So I would love to have one of those. I would love to have a suit, just a beautiful jacket and skirt suit in my size. As far as collecting anything in particular, I mean, just adding to the collections that I have. I don't think I'm adding on any other collections. Lately, I have been getting a lot more magazines, a lot more of the catalogs. So maybe I'll add more to that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything in particular. When I go shopping, whether vintage shopping, antique shopping, Unless I have a specific like decor item that I'm looking to fill my house or something, I really I just want what speaks to me. Um, and I don't know, I think it's fun that way to not really have any expectations. I just kind of go and find things that I like. So this next question is actually really interesting. So what are some of the things you like best and least about having a YouTube channel? So the best thing I like is being able to have this community, being able to reach so many people and meet new people online, obviously, but just kind of just knowing that there's, you know, now 5,000 people who are interested in the same thing that I'm interested in. And I think that to me, just especially now with the pandemic and kind of being stuck at home, it's this connection that that we all kind of crave, and it really has helped me to know that you all are out there, and you have a similar interest. And I love the connection, the communication that you know, when you leave comments and ask questions, and I really like that. I like being able to share my passion for history, for vintage stuff, and yeah, and it's just a creative outlet. I really enjoyed the learning of, you know, how to film, how to edit, all of that stuff. I'm constantly learning new things, and I'm really enjoying that. The things that I don't like about it, and this has absolutely nothing to do with YouTube itself, it's more me. I put a lot of pressure on myself for this channel, and I really have not been a person that questions myself a lot until I started this channel. And you know, I wonder all the time, are the topics that I'm talking about, you know, not interesting to people, or, you know, stupid things like, is my voice annoying? Or, you know, I had someone tell me that I talk too much in one of the comments, which I found hilarious. But, you know, it's just those kinds of things. Like I worry about that kind of stuff. And I think also once I got monetized, it kind of added an additional element to the pressure, because this is a lot of work. It takes a lot of time and energy, to, you know, to film something, to edit it, put things together, you know, come up with ideas. It's a lot of time and effort to put into it. And it's like once you get monetized, you kind of feel like you want to see a return on that investment. And so it's a little bit more pressure on yourself when, you know, to make sure that you are making enough money to kind of feel like it's worth it. I know it sounds awful, but you know, you can do this as a passion. You can do this because you love it, and that's why I continue to do it. But there's also, you know, I know that my time is valuable, and I know that the knowledge that I have is valuable. And so just, you know, kind of getting that feeling that you want to make sure that you're getting that return. So it's a little bit more pressure that I put on myself. Okay, this next question is very interesting, and I'm glad that it was asked, but I will say that my answer is going to be very impassioned. So the question is, which era's fashion do you think was most flattering for us curvy ladies? So I want to preface this with saying that I do not want you to think that I'm angry at all about this question, about how it was asked. I do not mean to attack at all the person who asked this question. I'm actually very glad that you asked it, because this is something that I've really wanted to talk about for a while. So I'm going to answer it in two parts. So first of all, I hate the word flattering. I want to take that word out of our vocabulary completely, and I'll explain why. So the word flattering has two meanings depending on who the person it's being directed at. If you are a thin, straight size person, the word flattering just simply means that your clothes look nice, that you look nice, that, everything is in proportion and it looks nice on you. When you say that word flattering to a larger person, a fat person, plus size person, curvy person, whatever word you want to use, that means that whatever they're wearing makes them look slimmer. It makes them look smaller. It makes them look different. And it has that really heavy connotation of, you shouldn't look the way that you look, that you should wear clothes that are making you smaller, that making you slimmer. And it's just icky. It's really gross, and I don't like it. And it's just a word that needs to be eradicated altogether. And if you think about if you call someone a flatterer, it's not really a good and authentic compliment. If somebody is flattering you, it's not real. It's a backhanded compliment is what it is. So anyway, again, this is not against the person who asked the question, but the question is, what era's fashions do you think was most flattering for curvy girls? So here's where my passion comes in. All eras. Every single era. Because we have existed all throughout time. And we weren't naked. We've not been naked during that time. We've all worn clothing. So every era had fat people. And we all wore clothes in every single era. So it's really just whatever era you like, you can find something that is going to fit your body and that is going, that you're going to feel really good in. I have, 1920, usually 1920s and 1960s are usually the eras that most plus size people say, oh, I can't wear anything in those eras. And yeah, I mean, if you look at the kind of the mainstream style for those eras, it was very, very boxy, very, straight up and down, which for curvy people just kind of looks weird. But that wasn't every single style in those eras. There were definitely other styles going on in those eras. So yeah, it may take a little bit more research for you to find those styles. But there's so many details and fine details that you can put on an outfit to make it look like it's from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, whatever. That is going to look really good on your body. So if you like an era, wear it. Who cares? If you feel really good in it, if you feel beautiful, great. That's the era for you. So don't put yourself in, oh, I can only wear 1950s stuff because, the circle skirts and the petticoats underneath, hide my hips or hide my legs or whatever. That is just detrimental, and I don't like that. I don't believe that that's the way that we should clothe our bodies. And just remember that we've been around forever, and we will be around forever. There has been plus size people through the dawn of time, and there will continue to be, and we've all clothed our bodies the whole way through. So find an era that you like, and and whatever aesthetic, whatever details in that era, that is what you should focus on, not necessarily what's considered flattering for your style or for your body. Okay, so these next two questions are kind of similar, so I'm going to answer them kind of together. So, first question says, what advice would you give someone wanting to change their public look into this vintage aesthetic in regards to confidence and responses to the questions that you will no doubt be asked? Second question is, how are you so confident? I think that it's something a lot of us, a lot of people, including myself, struggle with. So I would like to know the secret. Um, I don't know if it's a secret. I don't really know if there is one particular thing to give you as far as confidence is concerned, except for if you are wearing what you want for yourself, that's going to give you the confidence. As soon as you start to realize that you aren't dressing for anybody else, you're only dressing for yourself, you're dressing because you like a certain aesthetic, you like this, this cut of dress, you like this era, that's where the confidence comes from. Because you really just start caring what other people think and how other people are possibly perceiving you. One of the things that I realized early on is, yeah, you're going to get questions, you're going to get people looking at you, but for the most part, people don't care. They are not, they're not paying attention to you as much as you think that they are. They really aren't. I mean, think about when you're out. How often are you paying attention to what other people are wearing? Really? They're doing their own thing. They're, dealing with their own crap in their heads and then their lives. They're not looking at you as much as you think that they are. And once you realize that, it's very freeing. It kind of takes a lot of pressure off. So as far as, confidence, I wasn't always confident. I was actually, when I was a kid, I was painfully shy. And I wasn't confident. I've, been plus size pretty much my whole life. And I was not comfortable in my body until probably my 20s. And it was just one of those, like, I really wanted to dress in vintage style. I loved it. I loved the look of it. And it was just one of those things where I literally just decided one day to do it full time. I had been dabbling in it, when I was in high school, wearing bits and pieces here and there. And, I'd started off with wearing brooches. And it was a way to just kind of help, show my personality a little bit, add a little bit of, flair to an outfit. But it really, once I just made the decision to go full force, and that's really my advice, is just do it. Whether that means starting small and starting in, just wearing a brooch, maybe just wearing more classic looks, maybe classic styles, not full vintage yet. And maybe if you want to start wearing hats, I always recommend starting off with a beret. It's low profile. It's something that's much more easily recognizable for people. If it's starting small or just literally just going all out. I don't like the term fake it till you make it. I like the concept behind it, and I totally understand what that means. But the whole fake it part is what I have a problem with, because you're not faking it. It is, if that is what you want to do, that is your authentic self. That is who you are. So you're not faking it. So I have a problem with that terminology, but the concept behind it is what, that's where I get the whole just do it thing. So that's kind of how the confidence thing in my mind starts, is just, you are going to make the decision that this is what you want to do. Now, the application part of that is a little bit, more difficult. But one of the things that I like to tell people is, start off by wearing the thing that you want to wear at home, in your comfortable space, in your safe space, when you're not going out yet. Whether that's a hat, accessories, gloves, red lipstick, or a particular outfit, wear it at home and walk around with it. Live in that for, a day, a week, however long it takes for you to feel comfortable and that it feels a part of you. And the great thing is, like, especially with like lipstick or even a hat, where the visual of it is a little bit jarring at first. When if you've never worn red lipstick can be really scary, I know. But if you wear it and you're walking around your house and you see glimpses of yourself in the mirror, that is going to help kind of put that in your head that that's me with red lipstick on, and I look good and I like it, and you start to get used to it. Anytime you're going to change your look at all, I mean, people who have changed their hair color completely, gone from blonde to dark or dark to blonde, it's jarring when you look at yourself in the mirror. You don't recognize yourself right away. So it's that constant, looking at yourself and seeing it on you that helps with that confidence. It helps you get a little bit more comfortable with it. So yeah, and then as far as the questions that people ask, yeah, they're weird. I've gotten a lot of really weird questions in my time. And the thing you have to remember too is that you don't have to acknowledge them. You don't have to answer them if you don't want to. You can literally just look at them and say, thank you, and walk away. You don't have to answer them. You don't have to acknowledge them. Especially, I have been very, very, very fortunate that I've not had anyone to my face say anything mean to me or disparaging or anything like that. I'm sure it's happened behind my back, but I don't care. I've had people ask really weird questions that kind of sound a little weird and mean, but I could tell that they don't mean it that way. And yeah, it is up to you whether you want to answer those questions or not. But I do find that, just not being defensive and just being as, kind as you can, to answer the questions, or not answer them. But for the most part, like I said, I've had some really good experiences. I've had a lot of really interesting conversations with people about my clothing and why I dress the way I do. And I think too that like confidence comes through, and that's a big reason why I've not really had a lot of negative issues, is that, people just see that I'm comfortable in what I wear and that I'm owning it. And so they can't really get me down for it. So that's a big thing for me, is just, like I said, if you're dressing for yourself, if you are wearing the things that you love, that's your confidence right there. You're owning it. And whether people think that you look ridiculous or not, it's irrelevant. They're not buying your clothes. They're not paying your bills. Who cares? So that's, once you can get to that point, it's very freeing. And I think that's where that confidence comes from. Okay, this one's really interesting. So says, my question would be, which era do you find the most fascinating and why? Well, obviously fashion-wise, I stick to the 30s and 40s. I love the styles of those eras. I find them just to be really beautiful. I love the details that go into the silhouettes and the looks of those eras. But as far as the eras themselves, yeah, I am fascinated with the 30s and 40s as well. I'm fascinated with the struggle that people went through during those times, and how resilient people can be. I find that fascinating. And but I have to say the eras that are just eternally fascinating to me are the Industrial Revolution and like the Gilded Age or Victorian era, if you're from Britain. Um, those eras to me are eternally fascinating. The Industrial Revolution, with so many different inventions and new ways of doing things and new ways of improving our lives and the lives of workers, and I find that incredibly fascinating. And I'm sure it's just simply because we live in the here and now, but the advancements that we have now don't seem as impressive, I guess, as I feel like they would have been then. And I'm sure, looking back on the inventions and the advancements that and the technologies that we've come up with in my lifetime will look amazing in I don't know, 100 years or so. But I am really fascinated with those eras, both with just, what was going on and all of the advancements that have happened in that time period, but also the fashion. I think the fashion's amazing, and I would love to, history bound in Victorian era garb and all of that. But that seems like a really, really expensive hobby that I just can't get into. But yeah, I think honestly, I think there's not an era in recorded history that doesn't fascinate me. I think that there's something really, really interesting that has happened in in the whole world in every single era. So just in general, history fascinates me, and learning little bits of history throughout each era, I think, is really interesting. Okay, so these last two questions are about me and my husband, actually. So the first question is, I'm curious how people met their partners, if I'm comfortable sharing, and I'm absolutely comfortable sharing. So Will and I met in 2001, and we actually met online, strangely enough. It was 21 years ago, and we met through the Hotmail personals. Um, which was very, very different from the online dating that is today. But yeah, we met online and we talked through, through emails and on the phone for several months before we ever met in person. And yeah, we met, and our first date was to the Red Hots, or the LeVay Smith and her Red Hot Skillet Lickers show up in San Juan Capistrano. And that was the end of it. Like, we knew right then and there that that was the end. And we've been together ever since. And yeah, it's been amazing. So he's a wonderful person and a wonderful partner, and I love him dearly. Second question is, did I wear a vintage style wedding dress when I got married? And do I have any vintage wedding style tips? To answer the second question, no, I don't. I kind of wore a vintage style wedding dress. It was just a dress that I got from Torrid. Our actual wedding, like our, like legal wedding, was very small. We got married on Halloween, and we really just did it because we needed the legality of it. Neither one of us really cared to get married. We knew we were going to be together forever, so it really wasn't important to us. So it was, I didn't really put much thought into, the wedding dress or anything like that. It was literally a dress that I had in my closet. So yeah, but it was great. It was fine. We, had two friends there that we needed for for our witnesses, and yeah. So I'm sorry, neither one of us are really big on weddings. I don't really care for them, so I did not have a, big ol' vintage style wedding, and I don't have any tips. I'm really sorry. Okay, well, that is it for our question and answer session. So now I'm going to give you all the information you need to know about my giveaway. So stay tuned. Hey there. So I'm really excited to be able to do this giveaway for you guys. This is just a way for me to say thank you for all of your support, for following me on all of my different content, social media platforms. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. So I'm really excited about this, and I hope you are too. Okay, so you have a chance to win one of 3 prizes. The first prize is a 1-hour style and beauty session with me. This could include helping you with vintage hairstyling, with makeup, putting an outfit together, or we could do a personalized online shopping experience with eSkakti or any one of the other, reproduction brands that you like. The second option is an accessory gift bag. So I will put together a little grab bag for you out of my own collection, and I will send that to you. And the third option is a $50 gift certificate to eSkakti. I will choose 3 winners, and you can choose from any one of the gift options. Okay, so here's how to enter. First, you need to subscribe to my channel. And second, I'm going to ask you to comment on this video, and I really want to know from you, what do you love most about vintage style? And it's as simple as that. Just make sure that you're subscribed and just tell me what you love most about vintage style. This contest will run today from 12 p.m. Eastern Time, January 24th, and will end at 12 p.m. on January 31st. The 3 winners will be chosen randomly at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on January 31st. And I will announce those winners on my YouTube community tab and on Instagram on February 1st. This contest is not sponsored by YouTube. I am solely responsible for the contest and delivering the prize to the winners. Good luck, and thanks again for your support. I will see you soon.